everybody. I'm Jessica with BCID.
And I'm Debbie Poley with United Spinal. And we're welcoming Debra Brown and Carol Killiebrew to present on financial planning for people with disabilities. I just want to give you a few heads up. We're recording this session, so if you don't, we're recording this session, number one. Then number two, um, there's also closed captioning available, and you can access that by clicking the closed captioning button on the lower right-hand side of your screen. We've also put a link to the closed captioning in the chat. So I apologize, our ASL interpreter hasn't made it yet. If they do sign on, we'll make them live. But in the meantime, we want to get started because we want to be respectful of everybody's time. Okay, so ladies, take it away.
Thank you so much, Debbie and Jessica, for having me back today, and also my co-worker, Carol Killiebrew. Some of you know me from the other two webinars that I did about taxes and also about saving money. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about being financially stable. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is having a game plan. Before you do anything, you need to have a budget. We have some budgets. If you don't have one or can't find one, you can let Jessica or Debbie know. And I have like budgets that I can send to you, short ones, long ones, beginner budgets. You need to know how much money you're dealing with. You need to have written down where this money is going. Once you have written down where it's going, there's always a way to save a few dollars. Now, I know some of you say, I don't have any extra money. A lot of people say that. I don't have any extra money. Where am I going to get this money from? But once you write it down, you can better plan. I had a young lady that didn't have any extra money and wanted to save some. And when we did her budget, and in fact, she did not have any extra money, we found that by her making a meal plan so that she didn't have to buy food every day or every other day, she made a meal plan that helped to stretch her money. And that way she had some extra money. If you make a meal, for example, I love spaghetti. I can make a large pot of spaghetti. I can eat some tonight, and I can freeze portions. And then next week I can have some, or later on in the week I can have some. Number one, I don't have to cook, so it's a time saver. And number two, you're saving money as well. There's always a way if you really want to make, because it's a sacrifice. It's the sacrifice, and it's something that you really have to be dedicated to if you want to save a few dollars. And everybody wants to save a few dollars. So there's always a way. Maybe instead of taking transportation every day to where you need to go to take care of your business, you can plan 2 stops in one day, and that way save some car fare. There's always a way to better hone our budget, but you have to put it down in writing so that you can see it. And once you see it, you'll be able to make the necessary adjustments. Now I know you're saying, okay, Debbie, I made the budget. I have a couple of extra dollars here. Now what should I do with it? And for investments and savings, we're going to turn to Carol. Miss Killiebrew is to investments and savings as I am to taxes. So if you take a little something away, because we always say, if you knew better, you would do better. So if you take a little something away from this seminar today, you will make me and Miss Killiebrew very happy. So let's give her our attention and listen very attentively. Ms. Killiebrew.
Thank you, Debra, Debbie, my longtime friend, my client, my associate. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I want to thank the United Spinal Association and also BCID, the Brooklyn Center for Independence, for having us on your webinar today. And I also want to thank everyone for taking the time to attend. I know we are still in the midst of a pandemic and we all have a lot going on, so your time is valuable and we really appreciate it. I also want to thank you for your great introduction to us in your webinar registration. I was really impressed. Practical financial planning, strategies for smart money management for people with disabilities. Any of you know what SMART stands for? I feel so good to tell you a new acronym for SMART, especially with my girl Debbie here, because Debbie deals with taxes. So SMART, save money and reduce taxes. How does everybody like that? We want to be smart about our money. We want to save money. We want to reduce taxes. And in our community, not only do we, why it's so important to reduce taxes, because when you do taxes right, then you get back the money that you have already paid the government. That's called a refund. And I don't know about you, but Uncle Sam may be their favorite uncle, but he's not mine if he keeps my money. How many of y'all can agree with that? Right? So we want to save money, reduce taxes. So I'm really excited to share with y'all about how we do that. If you notice in my box, those of you who are Zoom savvy, do a lot of, webinars, you see this long name I got in my box. It says MC Carol Killiebrew, AKA Creatively Carol MD. The MC is not a DJ. I'm not MC Light or anything like that. The MC stands for Money Coach. I am a money coach. And what a coach does is coach people to win, coach people to succeed, coach teams. So when you, if you like what you hear and you decide for us to help you, you're going to be part of the team of people that we help. And I'm excited to do that. The MD stands for Money Doctor. How many of you can just, wave and I can feel it through the webinar, sometimes feels like with your finances, you feel a little sick. Maybe it's at the end of the month or the beginning of the month. The beginning of the month when all the bills are due, I might feel a little bit sick. I don't know about y'all, but people tell me that. The end of the month when my money has ran out before the month, I'm feeling sick again. So then you need me to be your money doctor. You need me and my team, which includes Debra and which includes a whole staff of people at our home office, to be your money doctor. But in order for you to not feel as sick and to win in the finance game, you got to know the basics. So I'm excited to share with you the basics. And I'm going to do a quick presentation, but we're also going to be able to share with you the presentation that you're seeing. I will share that with BCID and the New York City chapter here with Ms. Debbie on the Spinal Association, and anyone who will be able to get this information out to you. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to share the screen and we're going to get started. If you read in my bio, the AKA Creatively Carol, you could call me Carol, by the way. Debra introduced me as Carol Killiebrew, which is my full name, but I like to tell people just call me Carol. And if you look at me as a coach, you can call me Cece. You can call me whatever you want, but I prefer Carol as opposed to Miss Killiebrew. That's fair enough? And when we finish, I'll put my number in the chat, my email. If you want to contact us directly or you want to contact me directly, I'll be sure to answer any questions for you. Just give me a thumbs up, Debbie and Jessica, that you can see the presentation here. Is it big enough,
Yes,
or do I need to enlarge it?
No, that's good.
Okay, good. So let's talk about the basics. In order for you to win at the money game, you got to know the rules. You got to know the basics. Wouldn't you agree? Right? And money doesn't come with an instruction, but we do know that we want more of it. We need more of it, and other people are trying to get our money from us. Right? Now we want to keep our money, and we want to pay for the things that are going to help improve our quality of life. And for us to improve our quality of life, we got to know the basics. So right here, we're talking about seeking financial success, being smart about our money. And in order to do that, you got to know the basics. As you saw in the bio, I'm the owner of Creative Success Business Center. And Creative Success Business Center is a mobile business center where entrepreneurs create, network, and market their business. Our flagship business there is my financial services and solutions agency, where I planted my flag with Primerica. Primerica is the largest financial marketing company in North America. And in fact, Primerica was in the news this week. If you were looking at finances, CNN, CNBC, go to Yahoo Finance, you'll see that Primerica had a huge announcement in which we just acquired one of the largest e-telehealth services that's going to be servicing the senior market. We're really excited about that because there's a lot of people in our community and a lot of people in your community that not only need to be healthy today, but we need to plan for the future. So we're going to be helping people and expanding in the Medicare area. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm also excited that 26 plus years ago, I planted my flag at Primerica and decided to build a business there, helping people to get healthy with their finances. And I just want to share with you that since our founding, Primerica has been a company dedicated to helping Main Street families. You know who Main Street is? Point to yourself. Main Street is us, okay? Main Street is who they're now calling essential workers. See, we always knew we were essential, but most people on Wall Street or the elite didn't really consider how essential we were until they needed us, okay? So I want you to know that Primerica has always recognized how important the hardworking middle-income families are. And your community, your different communities, especially people with disabilities, you're no different than anyone else just because we have some special needs or a disability. And so when it comes to being smart about your money with people with disabilities, the first thing you need to understand is that you shouldn't be doing anything different than what most people are doing. So what we're sharing with you is what we share with everyone. Now, there are some special concerns that relate to your market more, and I'm going to share with you one of our services, which is called Primerica Legal Protection Service. It's underwritten by Legal Shield. I'm going to share that with you in the end. Debbie, please make sure to remind me if I forget to put that slide up. But the main thing, and I want you to hear this clear now, the main thing that's different about planning and being smart about your money is that you do need to protect your benefits. Any benefits that you are receiving for yourself as an adult with a disability, if you have a child with special needs, if you have special needs, there are options and there are legal vehicles available to you to protect your benefits. There's something called a special needs trust. So what I'm about to share with you, you do on your own, but then you have a legal professional, generally a lawyer or an assistant, set up a special needs trust or a trust for adults to protect what you've done so it does not affect your benefits. If your benefits are Social Security, if your benefits are Social Security disability, whatever income benefits that you're receiving, you may need to set them up and put them into a trust. And a lawyer, a legal person can explain that to you more. Is that fair enough? That's very important. So we're going to talk about that. But again, you're no different than anyone else planning for their finances. And at Primerica, since our founding, we've been helping you. Over the years, we've shown that there's a way to do business and successful and still remain true to our core beliefs. And at Primerica, we always strive to fulfill our mission. Our mission is we help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. That's a pretty good mission. Wouldn't y'all agree? I'm gonna say that again. We help people earn more money. How many people, I can see you waving, want to earn more money? Not only do we want it, we need it. Jessica put 2 hands up. I think I can see somebody kicking up their leg as well. I see an arm going up. I see a fist bump. People pulling down their virtual masks. We need to earn more money. We don't just need it, we want it. We need to become properly protected. Just like we want to protect our benefits, we want to protect our assets. We want to protect what's important to us. We want to protect our income. Debt-free. How many of y'all would agree that debt is a big problem in country. And you know how it's a big problem in this country? Because it's a big problem in our households. To be honest, I don't care about the national debt if my household debt is not taken care of. Wouldn't y'all agree? Right? And like I said, the beginning of the month, pretty not happy because all them bills are done. The end of the month, we feeling sick because we ran out of money. We need to become debt free because the majority of our income is going towards paying someone else instead of paying ourselves first. And we need to start paying ourselves first. I'm going to talk to you more about that. But financially independent. See, I don't know about you, but independence is very important to me. And I know independence is very important to you. There's nothing wrong with needing support from people and taking support where you need it. But being in an independent position is so important in every area of our life. This is also true with our finances. So what we do at Primerica is to help you do that. The footnotes here, you'll be able to read. This brochure and presentation will be available to you, but we have websites that focus on certain areas that would be of more interest to you. But for lack of time, and to value your time, we're going to move on. But this website here, Primerica F&A, that stands for Financial Needs Analysis. See, in order to know what you need to do to win, we need to do a snapshot of your financial situation. When you know where you're at and where you want to go, don't you think we could get there more efficiently? Like that GPS. You know why they put the GPS in a woman's voice, by the way? Why do you think they do that? What if it was in a man's voice? We'd be lost all the time. Wouldn't y'all agree? Okay, no offense to all the men on the phone, but I'm just saying. Anyway, so the F&A, the financial needs analysis, is a GPS. It looks at where you are, where you want to go, and it gets you there effectively. See, think about that. Wouldn't you feel comfortable being a part of a company that does this, that helps people in this area? That's why I planted my flag here 26 years ago and decided to build a business here. So in this presentation and in the brochure that you will receive, we're going to show you how to protect your family, how to eliminate debt, and how to pay yourself first. I don't know about you, but Uncle Sam, if you look at your check, the first thing that gets paid is Uncle Sam. Debbie can tell you that. You are paying your uncle, FICA, Medicare, Social, all of them get paid first. But what about you? If something were to happen to you and you no longer could bring in income, or God forbid there was a premature death, you think the government going to take care of your family better than you? No. But because we're working so hard to pay the bills, we generally don't take care of this. This is very important. And yes, you can pay yourself first. I know some of you may be thinking, this sounds good, but I don't have enough money to pay yourself first. And I understand that. And the reason why that is because most people, most working people like yourself, most people who are underemployed or unemployed or just living off of benefits, enough money is not coming in. So instead of living in a cash cycle where we need to be, we're living in a debt cycle. And we're going around in circles. You see how this is going around in circles? You know why we're going around in circles? Because your finances are controlling you. When you're in a debt cycle, you're outspending your income. No matter what your source of income is, it's being outspent. Okay? And when it's being outspent, Debbie, I think I need you to mute your you can see the president. Give me a thumbs
Yes,
up.
I can see it. You went
Okay.
frozen there for just a second, but I can see it.
Okay, great. So the reason why we're going in circles, because we're in a debt cycle. Our finances are controlling us because we're spending more money than we bring in. We're borrowing to maintain our lifestyle. What do you do when you don't have enough income come in? Oh, we go to borrowing. That credit card, that plastic explosive in your wallet that they've made easy for us to use online, in the store, digitally. That is causing us to live in a debt cycle. And we're paying off debt and accruing more debt. But if we want to stop that, we need to become debt free. In our plans, we show you how to become debt free. We need to pay things with cash. When Debbie was talking about the budget, if you budget right, then you'll have cash available. If you do use the debit card or the credit card for convenience, you need to pay that off right away so that you don't accumulate more debt and interest. And we need to focus on paying ourselves first and investing in savings and building assets. See, if we move from that debt cycle to the cash cycle, we will become financially healthy. there are three challenges that most families face. They're not properly protected, they have too much debt, and they don't have enough short-term and long-term savings. See, short-term savings would have helped a lot more people during this pandemic when they lost jobs. And our community already was struggling before the pandemic. So if you look at pre-pandemic, if you look at during the pandemic, and if you're planning for after the pandemic, we know that we need to become healthier in our finances. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And so the solution is really simple. Put three fingers up. I can see y'all waving at me. Put three fingers up. It's 3 steps, y'all. Yes, you can. I'm a mini Obama. Yes, you can. All right. You can do step 1, protect your family. Take care of loved ones when you're gone. Make it a priority. You make you and your family a bill. That's called paying yourself first. We're going to talk more about that. You can eliminate debt. Just think about this. If you set up a debt freedom program, which is free, we'll tell you about this, debt elimination, and you pay that debt down so that you can pay yourself. Can you imagine how much money you would have as opposed to how much money is being made off of you every time you run up that credit card? We can do it. Yes, you can. Step 3, pay yourself first. You set up 3 fundamental accounts. We're gonna do that. But haven't you heard that you win with the fundamentals? Didn't I tell y'all I was a money coach? You win with the fundamental. Where my sports people at? Brooklyn in the house here? You see how good the Nets are doing? We win with the fundamentals. Even the Knicks are doing good. I don't know what's happening with the Yankees, but that's another story. Come on, y'all need to pull it up here. Look, so let's talk about step 1, protect your family. Ask yourself this question: how much is your car worth? Some of you say nothing if you don't have a car, right? But you know what? Most people are insuring it. If you have a car, you insure it. How much is your house worth? Don't you insure it? So let's answer this question. How much is your life worth? Is it insured? See, probably a lot more than your car or your house. You can't afford not to insure your life. So the foundation of being smart about your finances is making sure that you have life insurance. And not just life insurance, the right type of life insurance. We're going to talk about this for a minute, but I want you to hear me clearly. Yes, you can have the right type of life insurance. Yes, you can put in place a life insurance with where you're at now. It all depends on where you're at. But the bottom line is we do feel life insurance is misnamed because you can't insure or replace someone's life. But you can replace the income that life brings in. The income is what's taking care of your family. So when we look at life insurance, we need to change our perspective on what its purpose is. It's not just...
Carol, I'm going to have to interrupt you for 1 second.
Yes.
Stephanie just asked if you could slow it down a little bit so it's easier for her to interpret.
Oh, definitely. I was watching you, Stephanie. You were going like this. Usually when I'm with people, I'm all over the place. So we're going to have to talk so you can teach me that later because I know a little bit, but that's important. Okay. Debbie, wave at me if I start talking fast because you know how I rock. I usually rock. I'm a fast talker. Sorry about that. But what is the purpose of life insurance? We need to have a paradigm shift, change our perspective. Because in our community, listen, we've all been involved with people had to pass a hat. Right now, today, we're getting too many GoFundMe requests for somebody's burial. And though I feel sorry for a family and feel bad when someone doesn't have this taken care of, if we were all to set up a GoFundMe for basic finances that we should put in place for ourselves, we would be GoFundMe, would have all our money. And the fact is, this is something that I wish the people who are setting up GoFundMes, I wish the people who are passing the hat had Debra or myself or someone on our team in their community and said, we can help you with this. Life insurance should really be called death protection because its purpose is to protect the family against the premature death of a breadwinner or a caregiver. A breadwinner or a caregiver. Think about it. The person bringing bread in the house, that's income, no matter what its source is, whether it be from benefits, whether it be from a job, whether it be from a business. If something were to happen to them, not only do they pass away, but their income goes with them. Yes, we may have some things set up, but most people don't have enough. That's what the purpose of life insurance is. The potential risk of losing earner's income is why life insurance is necessary. We would go more into that. Everybody's situation is different, but who should buy it? Mainly people who are depending on them for income and support. Also people who want to leave something for their family. I'm getting ready to be a grandmother. My grandbaby is due on May 8th. There's a book I read that says you need to leave an inheritance for your children's children. I got 2 children. One is 15 and the pregnant one is 20. I love them both, but they both working my nerves. Before the pandemic, but definitely during this pandemic. So we need this pandemic to be over. And that baby in my baby's stomach, when I first accepted that she was pregnant, I love my daughter, but I love that baby more. That's my sunshine. More right now. I love her. But the point is, I told her, you are the carrier of the inheritor of the throne. And it's the throne that I'm building. Now, her and the father, they need to build the throne. But I know there's a book that says you're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children. That's another reason to do that, because it helps you do that. So when we sit down with you one-on-one, if you desire to do that, we would talk to you more about that. But here's how life works. Let me show you something. It's called the theory of decreasing responsibility. To be smart about your money, you need to understand this theory. And this is something that we educate people about in Primerica. This theory says that when you're in this stage of your life, you see this family stage, children, home, car, when you're in the accumulating stage of your life, which most of us are in the accumulating stage of our life, we need to put in place a financial plan. And that financial plan's foundation is with life insurance and the other areas I'm going to talk to you about. Because when you're in this stage where you have children depending on you, you have bills, you have debt, you have a mortgage, or you have rent payments that in New York City is more than a mortgage for most of us, right? When you're in this stage of your life, loss of income to your family would be devastating. So we need to put a financial plan in place. But as we get older, right, our assets and our cash, which is at the bottom here, will start to increase if we follow a good financial plan. Right here, we don't have much cash, so we need to have protection. And so as we get older, our assets will increase and our need for protection actually will decrease. Why? Because our kids are then older. Our debts are lower. And what we're looking for now, our mortgages paid, or we figured out how to handle it, how to handle that rent, how to get some services, right? And what we need now is retirement income. How many of you know somebody who's retired? How many of you are in retirement? Or how many of y'all wish you was in retirement? Wave at me. I see a couple people, hands, foot, arms, bumps going up again. But when we get here, don't we want to make sure that we can retire with dignity? In order to do that, we have to have a good financial plan. And so to help you be smart about your money, we offer that F&A I told you about, the financial needs analysis, which is a customized, complimentary roadmap that shows you how to get from here to here smart. But what I really want you to understand, and we'll go through this again, as your assets increase, your need for protection decrease. But if you're in this stage of your life, or you're in this stage of your life and you still need help, you need to have this plan in place. See, how much is enough? We don't know. Everyone's situation is different. So a consumer tip tells you buy life insurance exactly like you buy other kinds of insurance. And when you sit down with us, we're one of the top providers of life insurance, and we believe in educating people on the difference between the two types, cash value versus term. See, cash value life insurance is what the majority of the industry sells. We recommend term, and so do all the financial experts. We will talk more about this to you one-on-one, but why term is better is lower initial premiums, no investment component attached to it, because you save and invest separately. See, saving and investing separately is how you are smart about your money. Save money and reduce taxes, and it's a per death benefit. So just moving on, when you get this brochure from us, I'm going to share this with you. You can see what the experts say. How many of y'all have heard Susie Orman? I like to tell people I'm your neighborhood Susie Orman. Just a little darker, but I am your neighborhood Susie Orman. I'm your Oprah. I love them, but they're not coming into your home virtually or live to help you manage your opinion. But Susie said, in my opinion, there's only one kind of life insurance that makes sense for the vast majority of us, and that's term life insurance. Susie said that, and I'm glad she did. How many of y'all know Dave Ramsey? Dave Ramsey also agrees with that. And most of the financial experts of today agree with that. So we'll talk to you more about that, but let's go to step 2, eliminating debt. See, once we have that foundation in place, now we have to also eliminate debt. The bad news about debt is that it keeps growing. It's called compounding. And guess what? You didn't need me to tell you that, because I'm sure you realize it. How many of y'all like, why is this $100 thing that I put on this credit card, or this $500 thing, or even $50 thing, double, triple, like 10 times the amount? Didn't I do that like 10 years ago? See, I know a lot of you have figured this out, or maybe you've been working too hard and can't figure it out. But if you put something on a credit card 10 years ago or 5 years ago and you still paying for it, isn't something wrong with that picture? Listen, we need to attack that. We need to eliminate it. And the reason why most people don't eliminate it because they don't know and they haven't taken the time to realize how important this is. Did you know if you made a one-time $3,000 purchase with no new purchases, and even if it wasn't one time, let's say you bought some Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, went on vacation, and next thing you know, that credit card bill said you owe $3,000. It would take 10 years to pay that off. And you would end up paying $2,000 in interest extra, because your debt doubles and compounds quicker. So we're having the rules of the money game work against us as opposed to for us. So we need to eliminate debt. See, that's step 2. Remember, I told you it's only 3 things that we really need to do to become smart about our money. Have the right foundation. Make sure that our family is covered in case something happens to us. And number 2, eliminate debt. I need y'all to say, like, punch it out. Punch it out like a boxer. You got to fight to get rid of it. We're going to eliminate that. One of the first things to be smart about debt is to understand there is a difference between revolving debt and fixed debt. Revolving debt, also known as bad debt. Fixed debt, if debt can be good, is good debt. See, mortgages are fixed. They don't compound in a way that revolving debt, like a credit card, compounds. Why is a mortgage debt good? Because it's attached to equity. Why is student loan debt? Now, student loan debt ain't good, but it's good. I don't mean to confuse y'all. We want this. We need to handle student loan debt. It's a problem. But if you're going to get that type of debt, that debt is fixed. And forget about the political stuff with it now, because I would talk to y'all too long about that with my opinion, which is I hope they get it right and eliminate the student debt. But at least with student loan debt, it's fixed. It's not like a credit card debt. And you got it because you were doing something to advance yourself. But with revolving debt, credit cards, lines of credit, that compounds in a way where it grows and doubles and compounds in a way where it just works against us. If you had $17,000, let's just say in a student loan or a car, a lot of people are driving a car and they buy the newest car because they got it with no money down or very, low down. But let's just say you had credit card debt at 18%, but you had fixed debt at 18%. Same debt, same payment, but the revolving debt takes 17 years and 2 months to pay off, whereas the fixed debt takes 3 years and 2 months. Obviously, there's a big difference in that picture. Wouldn't y'all agree? And so we need to look at our situations, which we do in the financial needs analysis, and analyze what kind of debt do you have, fixed or revolving. And we need to, first of all, understand that you can eliminate it. Debt stacking can lead to debt freedom. How many of y'all ever heard of debt stacking? Probably not. You may have heard of the debt snowball. It's the same thing. But debt stacking says, listen, we're going to look at our debt situation. In this example, this family is paying $2,700 total. This is a retail card, Macy's or one of them stores, credit card, car loan, credit card, and a mortgage. So if you total that, that's $2,700. But if you commit to eliminating debt, you don't add more debt to your situation. But what we do is we look at which card, which debt you can pay off first. Once you pay that debt off, that's the target debt, we move that debt and stack it onto the next payment, instead of adding more debt or just keeping that money in your budget. It needs to stay with eliminating debt. Does that make sense? So now, once you stack it on the next payment, it allows for your debt to get paid off quicker. And the next thing, when that debt is paid, you stack it on the next, you stack it on the next, you stack it on the next, until the debt is eliminated. And let me tell you how powerful this is. A debt that would take 23 years to eliminate on a regular, without debt stacking, would now be eliminated in 9 years, which is 14 years sooner. 14 years sooner, and would save you 130 in interest. And guess what? You do pay that much interest. Even if you just put $50 on a credit card, that stuff adds up. It's funny how the debt adds up, but the savings don't add up. You know why? Because if you knew better, you would do better. And see, we are financial educators and liberators when we educate people about how to be smart with their money, save money and reduce taxes and eliminate debt. See, in this situation, by the time they finish paying off all these bills, they done paid $214,000 in interest. But when we eliminate that debt, we put $83,000 total. It could be over 20 years back in your pocket. If you think about how much money you have made over the last 20 years, over the last 10 years, and if you're close to retirement over the last 40 years, you will be surprised at how much money you've made, but that you've paid to other people instead of paying yourself first. What if you can now, instead of paying debt and credit cards, you can pay yourself with that money? If you were paying yourself $2,700 a month, as opposed to paying all these creditors $2,700 a month, you think you could become financially independent? See, that's how you become financially independent, to start paying yourself first. Remember, I told you it was 3 solutions to becoming financially healthy and financially independent. We talked about the foundation, life insurance. We talked about the cancer of debt and to eliminate it. Now let's talk about the last solution here, which is to pay yourself first. There are 3 fundamental accounts that will help you pay yourself first. An emergency account. See, the goal of an emergency account is to have 3 months of income. Emergencies, for vacations, for purchases. See, I don't know about you, but the pandemic really awakened people to the fact that life can change in an instant. People lost their jobs in an instant. People were furloughed. People were laid off. But most of them didn't even have 3 months of income set aside. Most of them didn't have 6 months of income, which is what we really recommend. A short-term account. Have at least 6 months of income set aside. And some of you may be thinking, how can I do that when I can't hardly pay the bills now? That was because before this presentation, you weren't educated about how simple it is, how basic it is, and that you can. See, for every dollar you make, you could take 10 cents to put into a plan. Some of you could take 15 cents. Some of you could take 20 or more. See, if for every dollar you make, you take 10% and you put it aside, you live off of 90 cents. Well, $1 is 90 cents. $1 is 10 cents. But if, let's say you have 1,000, that's 100. Let's say you have only 500 coming in, that's 50. Yes, you can do it. It's really that simple. We go into more detail about that, and you'll have this to read, as well as if you would like to talk to us, we'll explain it to you more. The third of those 3 basis accounts is your wealth building account. See, I don't know about you, but I know you all work hard for your money. I know you all work hard for your money, no matter how you get it, whether
Excuse
it's from
me,
benefits.
Miss Carol?
Yes.
I just want to remind you that I know we started a little bit late, but we only have about 10 minutes left. And I'm hoping that we can at least leave a little time for people to ask questions.
Yes.
And I think that the other issue people were interested in was how to create an ABLE account. So I don't know if that's on your agenda, but I just want to remind you about the time, okay?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I'll be finished in 2 minutes. I'm looking at it here.
Sorry,
No
thanks.
problem. Just wanted to finish this third point, which was to say to you is that yes, you can pay yourself first. Yes, you can set up accounts for the future. Yes, you can, which is the retirement accounts, the Roths, the traditionals, the 401ks, the tax deferred accounts. That is part of these 3 basic accounts. So how do you do that? You look at what you can afford to do. You put 50% towards that emergency, 25% towards the short term, 25% towards the wealth building. And see, all of that is able to do because of a concept called the rule of 72. The rule of 72 educates people on how money grows. And we would talk about that more one-on-one. And also in these accounts, one of the most effective long-term investment vehicles and saving vehicles that you can take part on is called a mutual fund. And a mutual fund goes into those accounts. Which fund goes into those accounts are based on what's best for you. But the top holding in a mutual fund is companies that we spend money on every day, including things like Pfizer and McDonald's and Walt Disney World. But this is how you grow money. And it talks about the 3 Ds of investing, the 3 Ds of saving. What's different about saving this way versus saving in a bank? How many of you have noticed that if you save in a bank, in a savings account, you don't have any money except for what you put in there? The money hasn't grown. The money hasn't invested. Well, that's because they take the money and invest in these vehicles where you need to. So we would explain more of this to you one-on-one. There's a principle called dollar cost averaging that you would benefit from, and that's how you make money in the market in these accounts. And the bottom line is that yes, you can do all of what we talked about. And remember when I started, I told you that everything that you need to do, you do, and then it goes into a special needs trust, or it goes into that ABLE account, or it goes into a different trust, whatever. A lawyer or a legal professional would tell you more the details of the ABLE and those different accounts. But you have the same needs that anyone else has. It's just that it needs to be placed in those type of accounts to protect it. And Debbie, I told you to remind me, but you don't need to, because I remembered the legal protection service that we provide is where you would talk to a provider law firm, and they would assign you to someone who can answer questions specifically about the type of accounts that people with disabilities need. I can't answer directly about the ABLE account or the special needs trust because it's different depending on where it's set up, what state. But if you have a legal provider or service to answer those questions for you, we can recommend. But if you already have one, or there's a lot of free legal services in New York, they would give you the answer to how to protect your assets in those type of events. But I thank you for listening to me today, and I want to leave it on this page here when it tells you, yes, you can do everything we talked about, those 3 things, so that you can be smart about your money. And I am finished. So if you'd like to open it up for questions, we can answer some questions for you. But I thank you for letting us present to you. And I will put my name and number and email in the chat if anyone is interested in finding out more information. But thank you so much for having me on the program today.
I'm feeling energized after listening.
That was a lot of information, right?
Yeah.
In a short period of time. Yes, it was. Is there any questions?
I guess we can give people a minute to go ahead and drop that in the Q&A. Yeah. I know money is definitely a big thing, you know. When you were talking about keeping money in the account and it just stays there, I see that. I'm like, why is that same amount just sitting there and I'm not getting no extra money? And money, especially if it's also a fixed income, you know, like it's tough.
It really is. And now you know, really the reason why that happens is that the rule of 72 is working against us. Our debt is doubling and compounding faster than our savings because we haven't been educated that we can invest in mutual funds. We can invest in places that really return our money. But the savings in account in the bank, most banks, the savings is below 1%. We cannot grow our money like that.
I see
No,
someone, I see someone said they tried to get life insurance, but they couldn't because of their disability.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of times people are denied life insurance because of disabilities, but there is life insurance that you can get. There's life insurance companies that specialize in giving life insurance to people with disabilities. Now, the difference is they won't give you a lot. They won't give you like 50,000 or something like that. The maximum they'll give you is like 10,000 or 15,000, just enough so that you're not a burden on your family. But it can be done. I have gotten people life insurance with disabilities.
I also want to add to that. In addition to that, for the most part, you have to do what you can do. I will generally try to help people look at their situation and see about becoming self-insured, meaning that while you carry that life insurance that Debbie is talking about from companies, they basically will let you have a small amount of insurance. You don't have to take any tests, but the life insurance is not a full benefit until you've paid them for 2 years. After the 2 years, it becomes a benefit, but it's generally higher per thousand. So I generally don't recommend that life insurance because people don't know about the other option, which is to be self-insured and to save. And generally, most people can do that, but they've never been educated about it. Listen, if they're going to sell you a 5,000 or 10,000 or $15,000 policy, but they're going to overcharge you for it, you might take something initially if you don't have any other means. But once we show you how you can start saving money, life insurance turns into cash when someone dies. If we can show you how to save that money and replace that need, that's better for you and your family because you won't be overcharged. So there's a couple of options that happen. But yes, because of health, because of some disabilities from a traditional insurance company, you might become what's called uninsurable. But we would help you see if you can qualify and then show you your options if you can't.
Which is actually called a prepaid. That's a prepaid burial, a prepaid life insurance. So yes, that's an option as well. Thank you, Carol.
No problem. And I did put my number and my email in the chat for anyone who may have a question that they don't feel comfortable sharing. And you can definitely text me at that number or email me. And I also will be getting to BCID and to New York City Spinal. I'll make sure to share this presentation in a brochure format so that you can read more about it. I also have a questionnaire that just outlines if you want us to do a financial needs analysis for you. It is complimentary. We do not charge for this financial plan. We just ask that if it makes sense to you, that you implement it. If you implement it, it will work for you. And that's how we stay in business and get compensated. And at the same time, we can help more people find out about it.
well, thank you so much. I think that you gave everyone a lot to think about, and we'll be sharing all of your contact information and the brochure in our follow-up email that you guys should look for tomorrow. I think that the takeaway for me is that for people with disabilities, the most important thing to do is to limit their credit card debt and to kind of control that easy spending that you don't realize how it compounds in interest and really costs so much more than just saving for what you want.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's a big thing.
Debbie, that should be the takeaway for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that no matter how much you have, I mean, if you're living on SSI, it's tough, but even if you save $5 a week,
That's right.
you know, eventually that will pay off.
So I will say
You
this.
got the idea.
I have a friend of mine, right? He always used to judge me because I used to buy overpriced Starbucks drinks.
Mm-hmm.
He always said to me,
Overpriced what, Jessica?
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Starbucks drinks. So he told me, you know, that money you spend at the end of the year, if you put it aside, you'll have a good amount of money. So during the pandemic, you know, I thought about him and I was like, you know what? He's right. We're home now. We're not going back and forward to Starbucks. And let me put that same $7 away, as if I would be spending it on my traditional drinks at Starbucks during the week. And I did. I ended up having a nice little chunk of change that I would have spent on Starbucks. So I'm not saying don't treat yourself, you know, definitely take care of yourself first. I think Carol, you know, said that, you know, that
That's true.
true.
But
You're,
with a budget,
yeah.
you'd be surprised what you could do. My family laughed at me because I buy water by the case. And instead of throwing out the bottles, I put them in a big bag and I take them back to the supermarket. I want my nickels. And every time I took bottles back, I put that money in my back pocket. I wouldn't spend it. When I got home, I put it in the drawer in the same envelope. When I go on vacation in the summertime, I have extra money. You'd be surprised the things you can do to save money, but you need a budget. You need to have it in writing. You need to be focused. You need to be committed. I want to thank Jessica, BCID. I want to thank Debbie, New York City Spinal. I want to thank Carol. And most of all, I'd love to thank Stephanie. You guys be
Yes,
safe.
guys, I was not the original interpreter. I just took the place for someone who couldn't show up.
Thank you, Stephanie. We love you though. So that's good. Everybody be safe, be careful. Thank you for having us once again. We love you all. Think about it. All the stuff we said, think about it.
Thanks
And
so
somebody
much,
just
guys.
asked a
We're gonna say goodbye now and look for our follow-up email with the contact information tomorrow. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you.
Right.